This is The Secret Defenders number 12 from the 90s, and it is the next chapter in that run with the awful art. Uh-oh, how come Thanos TM is on this cover? I have got a better question. What is Thanos doing having sparkly eyes? If you thought him getting beaten up by Squirrel Woman was the low point for the character, you missed in the 90s when he had sparkles in his eyes. The sad thing is, if it wasn't for this stupid shiny effect, I probably would have said that this cover, it stands as the best piece of art this artist has ever done. He is called Tom Grindberg, and he is about the worst thing you can possibly imagine. The writing is by Marz, and he also decided to be absolutely terrible on this book. You know what though? I reckon an idiot, like a proper idiot, an idiot with a backwards cap on inside, who uses like a scarf plug as a belt, someone like that, they would think this is a fun story. The tragedy is, though, most of those people cannot read. You see, this doesn't feature the Defenders at all. Instead, the twist is that Thanos, he assembles a team of villains to go on a random mission for him. It's meant to be like a twist because Doctor Strange, he does that with the Defenders. He recruits a bunch of random heroes and they're the Defenders. And now we have got Thanos doing it with baddies. I will say, with better art and better writing, maybe this story could be fine. It could be like a fun disposable team up or an actually good Thanos story, but this is just rubbish. To lead this team, Thanos has plucked a completely random foot soldier from Karen Gillan's army. His reason for doing this makes no sense. Marz, he was writing Silver Surfer at this point. That was like his big book. And he was like Marvel's go-to Jim Starman substitute. He was like a cheaper Jim Starman. So they put him on Defenders for 6 issues where he just told shit Silver Surfer stories. All 6 of his issues, they probably would fit better in his Silver Surfer run. Not helping is the art, which is terrible. Tom Grindberg he even graduated the Silver Surfer's book after this. Fucking ludicrous. We've not seen anything too offensive yet, but there will be some real travesties later on. The idea is that Thanos, he's getting a bunch of villains. We see loads on screens here. And yes, that is Darkseid from DC. I guess in Universe, you have got to squint and pretend it's meant to be like Armageddon or something. But my problem with this story, from a writing perspective, is that Thanos, he recruits baddies who are well and truly beneath his notice, like Rhino Man and one of the Russian Iron Man cosplayers. And frustratingly, even on these screens, we have villains that are more appropriate, like Annie Hall and Ultron. And the other thing is, if you think having Thanos teaming up with Karen Gillan's soldier friend might finally be an opportunity to tackle the whole idea of Karen Gillan claiming to be Thanos' granddaughter, that backstory that Jim Starman tried his hardest to bury and ignore, then you would be right, and then you would recognise that this issue fails at even addressing that fact. And here we are off with the hideous artwork. This is a double splash page, our second double splash page already, and it is shit. It's also meant to be showing us who this team will comprise of, and it is a great idea to have the most nondescript member of them facing away and obscured by his own hair. So this team, it is the random alien soldier, Rhino Man, Nitrous Brio, N-Brio for short, a Russian Iron Man cosplayer, and a super-skrull. I'm fine with N-Brio and super-skrull. It makes sense that Thanos would recruit them because he did in his first story, and he would be aware of them because they killed his arch enemy, Captain Marbles, the real one, Marvel. A fucking Rhino Man and a Russian cosplayer. They're just so beneath Thanius's notice. And obviously, these Villians, not all of them want to play ball. So here is one of the worst things ever drawn. Thanius, he is blasting super-skrull. And this is just outrageously bad. Thanius is hitting him with such force that he must have surely split in half. There's no other way his head could be that close to his arse. I would say try and get into this pose at home, but I didn't want any of you to die. So we're having a little fight between Thanos and super-skrull. And up here is some of Tom Grindberger's anatomy. Super-skrull, his head is pretty small, but then his legs are fucking enormous. His legs are so thick that on a plane he would have to buy 2 seats. And then look at his tiny, tiny little feet. It's like he's wearing inflatable trousers. And then down here we have got another of Tom Grindberger's ticks, which is a character standing with their legs wide open and giving the reader a nice look at their tight arse. Except in this case, Thanos is wearing a skirt, so we didn't get to see the butt cheeks. The other problem with this run is that it is so fucking slow and it's drawn out of rubbish. The issue before this one is a much better example of that, but this one does it too. This is one scene. We are over halfway into the comic and we are still on the first scene and setting up the story. Oh, dearie me. The amount of double splash pages or double page layouts definitely didn't help the fact that these issues are a complete waste of time. Before I start tackling the big elephant in the room, I'm going to say something positive, and that is that this image down here of Thanos, this isn't that bad. That is completely acceptable. That's close to good. Mind you, super-skrull, his knees being that far apart, it doesn't do you any favours. But then we have got the big image on this page. It's meant to be so epic that it gans across 2 pages. Thanos, he is twatting super-skrull, and it's just a fucking mess. I'm going to ask you a question, a simple question. This black bit here, what part of the body is it? I'll be fair, I'll turn this sideways, which I love doing, so we can get a good look at super-skrull's anatomy here. Sadly, you can't fit it all on one page. First, we have got his head. I'm assuming his neck is broken and he is dead now and he won't be in the story anymore. Then we have got his arms. His arms are in the most awkward pose ever. Then this one leg. The kneecap is almost as high as his head. Is that what has happened here? Did he accidentally knee himself in the chin? And then we have got this bit here, the black bit. We have got his torso there, and you can see the torso ends there. And then the leg, it begins there. So what's all this? What the fuck is this area? Then when we do start the other leg, this is pathetic. It just keeps ganning and ganning. And you know what? You might think this black bit here, it's meant to be his foot. But for all we know, Tom Grindberger's, he kept drawing more and more leg after it. And it was just outside of the trimmed guidelines. I mean, that leg is fucking insane. Let's turn it back the right way now so we can look at his awful Thanos. Thanos' head is like a marble. Compare his head size to his fist size. Have you ever met someone with loads of muscles? Have you ever met someone whose fist is bigger than their head? It's not just that though, his thighs. Thighs are always a problem for Tom Grindberger's. Thanos' thighs, they are like 3 times thicker than his head. Then we have got the pathetic little feet at the bottom again. And even the arc of Thanos' punch, well, the arm, it would be like going up there, his shoulder would be there. But the effect lines and the angle of his fist, it's like this was fired from off panel from a rocket launcher in a straight line. This is shit. It's bad art, it's bad writing, it's a badly done idea. Funniest, he is sending these goons to steal a Bible. And just because I'm not picking apart every panel on this page doesn't mean that it is good art. If I properly wanted to focus on how bad and unqualified Tom Grindberg as is, it would take about an hour to get through an issue. More criticism of the writing is that there is no dynamic with this team. There's none at all. There's no interpersonal relationships built up or developed. There's no real personality given to any of them. And they are consistently horribly drawn. This is just a nightmare. One character you will see Tom Grindberg has really struggled with throughout this story is Rhino Man. He just can't seem to wrap his head around Rhino Man's existence. Also, if any of them fucking people show up saying that he's like doing a style and it's like meant to be like Michael Elboy and it's meant to... Jesus fucking... Oh, fucking Christ. I really just noticed this. Right, this is the worst thing Tom Grindberg has ever done. Right, we have got this religious man here, and he's screaming, and you know what? His top off, that is acceptable. You can get away with that as art, but then let's draw attention to his leg here. His leg, we have got the big tumor thighs, and then look at how much it fucking shrinks. What the fuck is that? What the fuck is this? Who said, yeah, this art is fine, let's print it? The guy's leg against from a fucking chunk to a fucking twig. Oh, this is the most embarrassing thing I have ever seen. That is astonishing. Oh, I really can't get out of that. There's no perspective at play at all here. There's no argument to be made whatsoever that this is a stylistic choice. He started drawing one of his big awful meatball legs and then he just gave up. Then we have got another double splash page to celebrate this atrocious art. I spent a good 20 minutes just looking at this and soaking it all in. There's not a single character across these two pages who is drawn well. Russian Iron Man cosplayer, he has got massive legs and they are wide open, probably to draw attention away from his tiny head and that his arms seem to come out of his chest. Rhino Man, we have got his back there, but look, he has got no chest. His arm is there, but he's got no chest. And it's fucking freaky, like, what angle is Rhino Man's body? His head, it should be like facing up that way, but it's like his head's at 90 degrees. Like his head doesn't match the angle of his... And his legs are confusing too, because that one seems to be coming right out of his arsehole. Embryo, who has done now all issue, he's already knocked out on the big double splash page. And I didn't blame him, because from the looks of it, he's just missing an arm. Then super-skrull, his torso, it just tapers and it keeps tapering. But then we've also got his arms. And his arms, they're meant to be stretching around the zealots, but they have no end. One of them, like, guns all over the page. Follow it with us, actually, right? The arm starts there, it goes past Embryo, it wraps around this guy, and then we've just got this bit here. We've got this bit of super-skrull, but it's not attached to him. It's not attached to anything. Like, I think this is the hand, because it is black, and if you follow it up, there's the arm, it just goes up, it wraps around him, and there's not even any hint that it, like, comes back down to connect to him. It's just like a random part of him that isn't part of his body. This is disgusting. There's Thanos with his legs wide open, doing a Basic Instinct for you. Fucking awful. Fucking talentless piece of shit drawing a fucking paycheck for Ron Marz girl. It is kind of appropriate that Tom Grindberg has best piece of art, this cover. It adorns an issue that has like 2 of the worst things he has ever done. Hold on. I need to go back and look at that leg. It was ridiculous. It's like that would be a really fun and unique design for a character, but fuck me, I can't get out with that leg. I'd even recommend this. The story is shit and padded out. The writing and the execution is bad, and it's out of character for Thanos, and the art is the absolute nadir. This is the worst that comic book art ever gets. And the fucking shiny eyes is embarrassing. The only reason I am not tearing this up is because it is funny. It is funny seeing art this bad. It's genuinely interesting and fascinating. I tell you what, as shit as this story is, the art is remarkable. Admittedly, none of those remarks are good, but it is definitely remarkable. I rate this 7 thumbs up.